My daughter recently passed, everything is still so fresh. We just buried her a month ago. My sweet angel was only 4 and it still kills me every day. So maybe this is why, maybe my reaction was too strong, or I don't know. My ex-wife took off when my daughter was a year old. She said she realized she wasn't ready to be a mom yet and it was all too overwhelming for her. We divorced and she never asked for any sort of visitation. Her family are the only people I kept in contact with for my daughter's sake. They were in communication with my ex, but even they couldn't get her to come around. I'm still holding a lot of resentment towards her for leaving us. Initially I was against allowing her into the funeral, but her family convinced me, and at least she didn't try to approach me or sit next to me. My family was invited to come to my house for an after-funeral type of thing. Just for everyone to be together, eat some of my daughter's favorite food, and other home-cooked meals made by my mom. Truth is, I didn't want to be alone. My family understood that, so that's why they organized it. Then my ex shows up and my anger just flares up. My sister had seen her at the funeral, so she invited her over. First got mad at my sister because she knows I don't want her around me, then told my ex to get out of my house. My ex didn't want to because she's also grieving and in need of support, and I told her then she can get it from her own family, but she's not welcome here. I yelled at her to get out because I don't want her anywhere near me again. She's still insisting she stay because her family won't give her that support. I said to go to my daughter's grave then and comfort herself. My sister took her finally, and they both left, but my mom wasn't happy. Neither were a few of our mutual friends. They get I'm in the middle of my grief. Still they think it was a huge overreaction to yell at her like that, then keep her from getting any support when she probably deeply regrets not being there. Not sure if it's my stubbornness telling me I'm in the right or if I'm actually wrong in this scenario. Thought maybe for people who aren't emotionally involved they'd be able to give a better verdict. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your sister was an idiot for inviting her into your home clearly against your wishes. Your ex was an idiot for refusing to leave your home when asked to. Yes, there was a scene, but it was 100% caused by her because she was trespassing in your home and just kept doubling down. Her attending the funeral is one thing. She had no business trying to crash your private family gathering in your home. You deserve to grieve and be comforted the way that you needed, not to be confronted with your child's deadbeat mother. Your sister should be ashamed of herself, as should your ex for not leaving right away. She doesn't get to abandon her child and then show up and get support and care from your family. She decided to stop being your family when your daughter was 1, she gave that privilege up. I am so sorry for your loss. My heart truly goes out to you. No death is easy, but to lose your child. I can only imagine how profoundly you must be hurting. Hang in there. Not the idiot. They need to understand that the presence of your ex is just salt on the wound. You can't help that, and you shouldn't be asked by anyone to tolerate it. Your ex has every right to grieve, but she has no right to your home or to you. It sounds like your loved ones may think you cast her away out of anger. They should see that you cast her away out of pain. Anger was just a natural reaction to that pain. And if there is ever a time when anger is a justified reaction, this was it. I'm sorry for your loss. I have 2 children, Mia 16 and Ricky 18. Mia used to work at the local coffee shop for 2 months, but didn't commit to nor respect time and had no work ethics. As a result she got fired, but she didn't accept it and kept begging her former boss to get her job back but couldn't. She was so heartbroken over losing her first job this way, and besides the coffee shop is or used to be her favorite place. Also she was saving up to attend a horse riding camp but didn't have enough money, so I promised to pay for her enrollment and application. A week after she got fired she learned that her brother Ricky was trying to get a previous job. She went mad and kept begging me to not let Ricky apply to work at the coffee shop because her friends will find out and say the manager picked her brother over her. I thought that was overdramatic of her, and plus Ricky is the one to decide which place to apply at, so I told her to leave it alone. Mia refused, saying if I don't do something then she will. Days later Ricky told me and his mom that someone logged into his email and cancelled his job application at the coffee shop. He said he spoke with the manager and found out someone sent him a rude email pretending to be Ricky, saying he was cancelling his job application and he no longer was interested in working at the shop. Adding insults to the coffee shop and the staff and the manager himself, etc. The manager kicked Ricky out and even banned him from the shop completely. I immediately shouted for Mia to come downstairs, and after pressuring her, she admitted sending the rude email to the coffee shop manager to make Ricky lose the job opportunity. She defended herself, saying she felt awful that Ricky was planning to take her place at the shop and couldn't let it happen. I was mad. I told her I'm automatically cancelling her horse riding camp application and taking the money I paid back. She tried to argue and cried, saying I promised and I knew how much this meant to her, but I said that was automatic response to what she did, point blank period. No buts or ifs besides the fact she had to apologize to Ricky. My wife called me an idiot for not seeing where Mia was coming from and said my love for her was conditional since I promised to pay for the camp but took the money back soon as she upset me. Mia hasn't been talking to me for 2 months, except for basic words like good night, goodbye etc, and my wife said Mia has every right to not talk to me ever again if she wanted. I wonder if I went too far or whether Mia deserved her punishment. I won't even get started on how awful Ricky felt and is feeling because he's developed trust issues ever since. Not the idiot. In my opinion, you never should have paid for it when the only reason she couldn't afford it was because she was being irresponsible. So to top it off with this behavior, you are not the idiot. Maybe you should make her go and confess to the manager, even if it changes nothing for your son's position. Love does not mean they get to have zero consequences. You love her enough to give her consequences for her actions and help her grow into a better person. Not the idiot, she needs to have consequences for her selfish actions or she will grow up to continue to be a monster. And this. My wife called me an idiot for not seeing where Mia was coming from and said my love for her was conditional since I promised to pay for the camp but took the money back soon as she upset me. Hell no. Your love is not conditional, the expensive gifts are. Does your wife not care about your son at all? Does she not mind that her daughter messed with her son's life? I'm starting to guess where the daughter gets her attitude. Your daughter is spoiled. This dynamic where she thinks she's above consequences is not going to prepare her for the real world. The fact that your wife thinks your daughter is in the right is alarming as well. Your daughter impersonated family and cost him a job where he gets a good first impression. I feel bad for your son. His sister figuratively stabbed him in the back. Who stabs family in the back? People who deserve punishment. She can go see ponies next year, make her do chores this year. So, I, 25, have been friends with Lonnie, 25, for about 5 years now, and after we left college we went down 2 totally separate routes. She decided to move in with her boyfriend of 2 years, and she's told me on multiple occasions she wants to marry him. I've always been totally behind whatever she's wanted to do, as long as she's happy. I decided after leaving college I wanted a few years alone to just focus on myself and my career. During college I told Lonnie I had plans to move abroad for my career and that for me a relationship wasn't a huge priority. She kept making comments like, "Oh please it is, you'll just get used to it and leave me when you do." Her comments got a lot worse when I got a position in Switzerland. She kept saying how Switzerland was overrated and the country we're from is better, we're British, and I disagree a lot. They died down a bit once I settled into my job and it became obvious how much I loved living there. A couple of months after I moved, I met Alex, 27 and not his name, through mutual friends, and after a few months of being best friends, we confessed we had feelings for each other. We've been together for about 6 months now, and since then I've always made sure I've made time for my friends back home by FaceTiming them once a month and texting them every day. Lonnie for some reason didn't like Alex. For background info, I've normally gone for jock types, but Alex is basically what you'd expect a young scientist to stereotypically be or look like, huge glasses, has his nose in a book 90% of the time etc. I think he's perfect, and he shocks me a little bit every day at just how amazing and kind he is. Lonnie, however, when she saw a picture of him, said it how he was ugly. I was shocked and told her his personality mattered much more to me, and she basically said, well, it probably won't last anyway, he'll pick his career over you. I flew back home last week to see my friends, and we all had a garden party for me. Before I left, Alex had suggested moving in together with 2 of our other friends, and I'd said yes. When my friends at the party found this out, they all congratulated me and said they were happy for me etc. Lonnie, however, just sulked in a corner and then flat out refused to talk to me. I asked her what was wrong and she said loudly, "You should just dump him and come home. You've basically abandoned me and it was horrible of you to do that." I finally lost my temper and basically said, "You stopped being a supportive friend a long time ago, I'm not your nanny, and you're a fully grown woman. Go make some other friends and stop being so entitled over who's allowed to move on with their life." I'm normally very chilled and I rarely lose my temper, but she burst into tears and stormed off. Our friends have sided with me and I've messaged asking her to talk, but she's just replied saying I'm an idiot. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Go live your life, honey. The best life you can. She's got unresolved issues, but you don't have to put up with them. She's treated you like crap. If one of my friends had the audacity to tell me my SO was ugly and should be dumped, I'd no longer be friends with them. It's not just disrespectful to the partner, but also to you. I feel strongly that you're not the idiot. Lots of built-up reactions to what she's been saying to you came all out at once. That can happen when you are a chill person. It doesn't mean you don't have those emotions, and sometimes it means that you store them up and then let them loose all at once without being in control of how, so watch for that. I'm not gonna say your friend is the idiot either, she's wrong for what she said and has been saying, but honestly your story just comes off as a sad story of two friends moving apart and one of them not taking it well. You sound like you've really got your life together and have had a strong direction to go in for a while now. Perhaps she's just jealous and displaying it the way a lot of people unfortunately do. Yes, it's hard when someone close to you moves away, I get that. One of my close friends moved to New Zealand from the UK, where we both grew up. I was sad that I wouldn't get to see her all the time, of course, but I love my friend and I truly want her to be happy. She called me last night telling me she just got engaged and I genuinely cried with happiness for her. My friend's happiness is the most important thing, and a friendship worth having isn't like a Tamagotchi that needs to be constantly fed so it doesn't die. Focus on your life in Switzerland with your lovely fiancé and don't worry about this girl. She's not the kind of friend who goes the distance in your life and you found that out before you wasted a ton more time, or she found a way to wreck your wedding. So, my 30 sister, 29, had to renovate her house due to a tree crashing down and taking out their roof, and she asked me if she and her family, niece 9, nephew 5 and brother-in-law 32, could move in with me. I didn't see an issue with this as I have more than enough space at my place, 5-bedroom house, so I said sure if they can chip in on bills like electric and internet. They agreed and they've been here for about 2 weeks now. Yes, I didn't clear this with my girlfriend, 28, and she's mad about that, but hear me out. My girlfriend doesn't even live with me, she rents an apartment that's closer to her work, and we've only been dating for 3 months, so I didn't feel the need to ask her. If she did live with me of course I would have asked her. Well yay, she's fairly upset since she feels that my sister and her family is invading our space. And she no longer feels welcome at my home with kids running around and 2 adults she doesn't know all that much. To me, my sister is my family and I was able and willing to help out, but my girlfriend still thinks I should have cleared it with her before just saying yes. Personally, I don't think it's an issue, but my girlfriend think I'm the idiot, even though we rarely spend time at my house anyways due to her not wanting to drive back home to sleep or to wake up earlier to drive to work. Am I the idiot? You aren't even married to her. You have no legal obligation to your girlfriend and you can decide to do with your home what you see fit. No input from her is needed. And you've only been dating for 3 months and she's pulling this. Imagine the suffocating control issue she will have once it's been a year. Huge red flags everywhere. Kick that crazy girl to the curb and enjoy your time with your family. Not the idiot. Dump her now. In what world is a girlfriend of 3 months who doesn't live with her boyfriend get a say or get to feel some type of way about him helping his sister in an emergency time of need? Now I do understand that she feels uncomfortable at your home now because she doesn't know them and that was where you all primarily hung out. But a normal person would just invite you to her place more for the time being or take it as an opportunity to get to know your family if she has any intentions of this being a long-term relationship. Not the idiot. You have a 5-bedroom house and as you said you have plenty of space. If she was living with you she would have said no. What would you have done? Would you have gone back to that 5 and 9-year-old and said no, my girlfriend doesn't want you to move in? I have a feeling that she's going to see this post and start backtracking. But things like this will come up in the future, and the more she is established in your life, the more she will start insisting on her way. And if this is any indication, her way lacks a lot of compassion. My friend's child is 9 months old, and my friend and her husband practice the never raise a voice or tell off a child method. News to me, this was a method. I'm not a child person, I accept they exist, and I coexist with them. I am good at pretending I find them cute, but they do nothing for me, and I find even well-behaved ones annoying. Anyway, this child came over about 6 months ago, and it was a disaster. Never wanted someone to leave my home so bad. She walked with shoes all over my sofa, smashed her doll so hard into my coffee table, it dented and got ink on my wall and dining chair. She also was just obnoxious and screamed the whole time while the parent sat back and let her crack on. I'm so awkward with kids, so I was just having a mild panic attack inside. Anyway, I got over it fast as I moved. Sold this furniture and replaced it with much nicer furniture, which I'm pretty protective over to an extent. I presumed we both knew the last visit was horrible and they'd never come back. Anyway, they arrived as they were in the area out of the blue, and I panicked and said sorry, I really can't have name in here because all my furniture is brand new and the walls have just been painted. The mum confused asked what on earth am I on about, and I said, just last time a few bits of my furniture and the walls were damaged, which is fine, but I don't want that to happen again. She exploded, screamed how pathetic I am, and what a sad existence I have to push people away once they have kids, and that it's just furniture. She said I'm a pathetic idiot and stormed off. I worked hard to afford my new furniture, it's from my favorite store, and I feel proud it's not all IKEA, and I have had other kids over who are well behaved. Am I the idiot? Surely I shouldn't be subject to my home being ruined by a badly behaved child. Not the idiot. Parents are responsible for their children, especially in public or visiting others. Until your friend and her husband are ready to make sure their child behaves when visiting you, they're not doing their job as parents. If they never teach no, they'll be in for a shock when they try to invoke it later on. Your friend is showing disrespect for you and your home. Just because she's got a child doesn't mean everyone has to accept whatever the kid does when they wreak havoc from lack of discipline. Not the idiot. People who raise children with no boundaries shouldn't be surprised that people don't want to be around the little hellions. I don't judge people on how they raise their kids. Their life must be a living hell because of their parenting decisions, but that also doesn't mean I want to be around a child that feels okay destroying someone else's property. Those are the kind of kids that get people thrown out of restaurants, banned from daycare, and cause hate and discontent wherever they go. That said, I am going to judge. A parent's job is to raise kids that fit into society, and kids with no boundaries end up not doing well because they don't have a moral compass to tell them what is right and wrong. I can guarantee that you are not the first person to keep this child away from their home. I've had destructive children at my home one time. The parents didn't like me telling the kids no and enforcing boundaries. I told them either they discipline their kids or I will. They left in a huff, and I never invited them back. And I didn't care if I hurt their kids' feelings. That's mom and dad's problem for failing to discipline their kids.